I think it's crazy I'm the one who they
was
label
my
as
bad.
controversial, and Cardi B
left
is the
it
role
muted.
model for 12-year-old girls. There's rappers pushing Xanax at the top of the billboard, but if I mention race in a song, I'm scared I'll get killed for it. It's backwards, it's getting exponentially dumb. It's more difficult to get a job than purchase a gun. Eminem used to gay bash and murder his mom, and now he doesn't want fans if they voted for Trump. We're ashamed to be American. You should probably love it, cause you have the right to hate it and not get stoned to death in public. As children we were taught how to walk and talk, but the system wants adults to sit down and shut up. Cancel culture runs the world now, the planet went crazy. Label everything we say as homophobic or racist. If you're white, then you're privileged, guilty by association. All our childhood heroes got Me Too'd or they're rapists. They never freed the slaves. They realized that they don't need to change. They gave us tiny screens, we think we free cause we can't see the cage. They knew that race war would be the game they need to play. For people to big teams, they use the media to feed the flame. They show fake woke.
Welcome to the Whiskey Rebellion. Actually, conservative parents with liberal kids, now known as the Whiskey Rebellion. I'm Richard Myers with my co-host
Jason Ricardo.
We are lawyers. I am with the Myers firm, and I am the Myers firm. My practice is largely devoted to helping spouses with difficult spouses in custody battles. We call them high conflict divorces. I still do a little bit of discrimination law, commercial litigation. You can find me at www.myersfirm.com, M-E-Y-E-R-S.
You can tell. You sound like a dragon.
This is the first time I'm 100% sober to begin a show, and I'm sounding
doesn't
sluggish.
sound like it at all.
Maybe I'm having an aneurysm and you don't even care.
No, it's the headphones. It's playing with you.
It is. I'm listening to myself.
You don't know when to end your word.
Right. It's difficult. I'm managing. You can find me also by email at rmyers@myersfirm.com.
That's why I don't have them on. I can't do it. Unbelievable.
I'll do half the show with it on, half the show off,
check
and
the
let the
difference out.
audience decide.
You mean the audience?
Yes, our one. I think we might have two.
No, we don't. It's only
Got one
three.
dedicated.
It's one person.
One dedicated.
My wife doesn't even listen. She's like,
Well, when does she listen to you in general? Now you're upset, and just in case she is listening. All right, and you are?
Jason Ricardo with the law firm of Ricardo and Waslick. We do. That's right. Take those off. They're useless.
I don't want to listen to you, just my own reverb.
Wow. We are a consumer protection firm where we help our clients fight back against debt collectors and foreclosure. Give us a call at 352-567-3173, or you can email me at jason@ricardolaw.com, or you can visit our website, ricardolaw.com.
All right, so our focus of the show used to be more along the lines of peace and love instead of division. We've kind
And
of...
all that got us was Biden, so we're done.
Yeah, so screw that. So now we're on to whiskey tasting and telling stories. Because that's how
And
we
praying
roll
for
now.
rebellion.
Right. Right, so we call it Whiskey Rebellion, and the brilliant idea of Jason was to kind of use the show as let's not forget about conservative principles.
That's correct.
And we begin the show by doing a tasting of the bourbon that Jason picks. We've had some strange picks. Well, actually, you brought in good ones. I brought in some of the strange picks.
Yeah, you brought in one really strange one.
The freezer bottle.
Who put scotch in the freezer?
It's being housed very nicely at Gigi's house.
Uh-huh.
It sits on the side, to be just taken in with the most reverence because it's one of the most exquisite liquors
How
ever
much
made.
is left?
All of it.
I thought she liked it.
We keep other stuff in there.
Oh, I see. Huh.
All right, so go ahead. Tell us.
So anyway,
what those-
just a quick shout out about the Whiskey Rebellion. Back during the first term of George Washington, there were citizens in western Pennsylvania which were pushing back against the federal government's right to taxation, and there was several thousand people who armed up and tried to resist the federal government. Ultimately, over the course of George Washington's first term, the rebellion was squashed, completely squashed. But nonetheless, as a little bit of a remembrance to their cause and their desire to keep their voices, we are sipping in their honor. So while we normally bring a whiskey of some sort, we have done different things. We've done some very interesting rums. We've brought in peanut butter whiskey, and this week we're going to do an old classic, Southern Comfort, which most of us have not had
And
since
we rate
college.
it, just to tell our new audience, if we have one, we rate it on a scale of 1 to 10.
That's right.
But we go first. Serge and I always go first, give our ratings first, because you are the expert.
God, I don't know why you say that. It's not true. But a little bit about Southern Comfort, very interesting. It is a whiskey product. Back in the day, it's a spiced whiskey. Essentially, it's herbs and some fruit flavorings, which is a secret recipe, presumably. But I was recently at the distillery, not the distillery, at the what's called the distillery where they make Southern Comfort and sell it. They were saying that if you've had Southern Comfort when you were in college in the 80s, in the 90s, they said you should try it again.
Okay.
They said because there's the old recipe, which was basically bourbon and then spiced. Then it was taken over by another company, and in the late 70s, they essentially made it. They made it out of grain alcohol and spices. And the Sazerac company, which is now the producer of Southern Comfort, is going back to the original recipe, and they are distilling it as a whiskey with herbs and spices again. So the goal is that it should be better. It probably tastes very similar. And this one that we're trying today is the Southern Comfort 80 proof, which is a little higher than normal.
Sweet.
If I'm still awake after your description, I'd like to have a taste of it.
All right, then I'm going to read it to you. Okay. So you're a real. Look at that. Just listen to that. Listen to that. Yeah. Come right off just like that. It smells like college.
Yep. Already tell. We used to
All right, I'm going to let you rate. I'm going to give it. You get the rating.
I don't even got it. I
you go.
give
You're
it
gonna
a
rate
high
it.
score right now.
Wait,
22.
And the
As long as
rule
they
is
didn't
to
screw it
sip
up.
it, the
Well,
tiny
you
little
know,
sip first. Or,
The typical fashion, you would have a sip, let your mouth acclimate to the alcohol, and then you would take another sip and then rate that second or third sip. With flavored liqueurs, you don't need to do that as much because the alcohol is not as burning. Although this is 80 proof, so maybe. I'm already.
this
seeing,
reminds me of hangovers already.
Yep, already.
All right, you go first, Serge.
Just like I remember. Oh, yeah. Pretty
But you're not tasting. You're not going to rate it on the first sip. You're
It's
gonna take
warm. Very
Yeah.
warm. I forgot that burn.
Yeah. Well, you got to take your second sip and rate it on that.
Do we wanna do that?
If,
All right.
if you were listening, we tend to tune you out. Though, so
I know. That's why I don't talk.
Very Southern Comforty.
Oh.
That's the stuff.
I like it
Very nice.
more than the others.
More than the
You know,
other
I'm not a
ones.
big whiskey.
I know you're not.
Right? So, but if I gave Grant's my old 7.2, that's become the.
The standard.
Is that the
for you.
benchmark?
I mean, maybe I unfairly gave it a high rating, so I
You
can't
did.
go below 7.2.
really
I got to,
screwed it up.
yeah, I screwed up the scale. But using that as the baseline, I'd give this an 8.2.
Wow. Okay, very interesting.
I'd give it an 8.
Yeah,
Solid
good.
8.
I would give it a solid. I'm going to split it up here. It was a 7.8. I do like it. I have at home the regular Southern Comfort. This is the 80 proof, so it's a little bit more alcohol-y.
Got a kick.
But it's got a kick. It's nice.
All right.
It's got a taste that's not descriptive. Like you can't. Like when you have Jägermeister, you're like, yeah, it's like an essence of NyQuil. But
Right.
But with Southern Comfort, I really can't nail it. I don't know what it is. What do you?
Yes, let me see. It's a little.
Let's try some more.
It's I'll read to
let's
you
try
because
to
I
describe
know
it.
how interested you are. It says in 1874, W.M. Heron took harsh whiskeys of the time and mixed them with his own blend of fruit and spices to create a whiskey that could be enjoyed comfortably.
Spicy. I could
Since
definitely
then,
get spices.
Southern Comfort has been spreading the soulful and vibrant spirit of St. Orange.
What do people normally mix it with?
Ice.
No. Yeah, ice. But fruits, I would almost there almost has to be cherry. There's got to be like a maraschino cherry thing going on there.
This is something I would sip. Just sip on the rocks.
Mhm.
All right, I appreciate you bringing it in,
Oh,
Jason.
you're welcome. Thank you for tasting it.
So before we go political,
Okay.
I shared a story with Jason.
Yes.
That was prompted by my daughter asking me a question right before we left Uncle Fat's. And it's a great story to tell because from my perspective, it wraps up so many elements of the Myers family crap that's happened. We all remember 9/11. So 9/11 plays a role here. A fortune cookie plays a role here. Traveling through an airport like a chicken with their heads cut off is what ultimately happens. But the question started with the whole story was when my daughter texts me at 5:49 p.m. Do you remember taking a limo to the airport one time when I was like 5 or something? What was that all about? I don't know why she had a memory all of a sudden. But I laughed and I told him that my brother Gary sent us a limo to get to the airport on a vacation we were about to take
Nice.
to get to Arizona. But the whole reason why I have a limo is another story within a story. So, and I remember the dates because this is vivid. On December 19th, 2002, I had worked at a law firm for 364 days at that point. And I went that day to a Chinese restaurant the day before my 1-year anniversary, and I was just having a buffet Chinese meal. And
Is it the one on 60 in Clearwater?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, the Super Oriental Buffet. Let's
Super
give that a
Oriental.
plug.
We used to go there. Remember, we used to meet you for lunch. Anyway,
Yeah. It's still going strong there, I think.
I haven't been there.
And at the end of the meal, I crack open the fortune cookie, and it says, "You are about to experience a career change."
Are we going to get the Cliff Notes version or the Victor Hugo's version right now? Just curious.
You get the FU version right now.
I
I don't think it's just pay attention.
This is only an hour.
I brought you into the show. I can take you out. Right. Patience.
Patience.
But you got to weave a story. That's what makes a story.
Weave it.
Go ahead, weave away.
Eloquently
Okay.
and
All right.
quickly.
So I get this fortune cookie. I put it in my pocket. I head back down to the office, finish my day. The next morning, I go into work, and it's our office Christmas party day. So we're working a half day. And I'm in a really good mood because I already got a positive review from my boss. Like, you're doing great. You know, it's like, you've got a long future here kind of thing. You know, maybe a month before. And at 11 o'clock,
Sorry.
an hour before we were all going to leave to go to the country club for a Christmas party, my boss and the office manager calls me in to the main office. And I'm thinking, I'm so happy that it's going to be a bonus check, my 1-year anniversary.
Gonna
It's
get
all
that pool built in the backyard.
right.
Get the pool.
I'm going to get some sort of bonus. I mean, I was doing well. You know, it's like, okay, this is cool. All right. And I get in there and I go, Richard, we've decided to go in a completely different direction, so we're getting rid of the employment law division. That's you and your 2 paralegals. And we're getting rid of the criminal law division, which was this other attorney named Joe and his 2 paralegals. And we're doing nothing but PI, personal injury stuff. And I went, oh, shoot, does this mean I'm not going to the Christmas party? You know, it's like
sunk in yet.
it hasn't sunk in. Like, I'm really, and well, no, you've been terminated effective immediately. And I said, oh, I guess I'll go back to my office and just pack my stuff up, right? And he's like, no, your stuff's already by your car in 2 boxes. And you're let go, effective immediately. And now I learned later on the reason why they did that is because in previous firings, attorneys would go back to their office, start either trash it or download a bunch of stuff.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I get it. You know, but I drive home thinking, shit, I got a 8-day vacation planned in Arizona, and I didn't even tell you this other part of this story. But what am I going to do with my clients? I had like 20 to 25 active cases at the time. One which was taking up all my time, basically 30% of my time. I can say all my time, but not really. But a chunk of my time as a practice in my practice, because that case was worth millions, and I was really developing the case, and it was getting close to trial. And just as an aside, Jason knows this, but maybe you don't. But when an associate leaves a law firm, what it's required of the law firm is to send out a letter that's jointly prepared by the leaving associate and the law firm to the clients being served by the associate, giving the client the choice to go with the associate wherever he lands or stay with the law firm. All right? So I'm going on this vacation the next day, and I got to get to the airport like 5:45, make a flight like at 5:45 or 6 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, all right, I got fired. I got to get up for this vacation. I'm no longer excited about it. I got to worry about where my client's going to go and when's the letter going to go out and
the money.
And the
That's
money,
right.
right.
Money
Okay,
would be
right.
like,
Like, what am I going to do for work? It's just everything.
But
Okay.
what I don't
Christmas.
understand,
They fired you right before Christmas. That's like
Yeah.
the crappiest thing ever.
That's terrible. But what I don't understand is if they eliminated your division, how can they even handle the cases that are in that division?
Well, Chuck Sullivan, I was trying not to use, but
Got it so fine.
he was the partner at the law firm. He said he was going to give the clients a choice, which he suspected almost all of them would go with me.
Yeah, of course.
So they were just going to handle the lingering cases on their own. With
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So it didn't require a staff to handle it, just a couple,
Yeah,
couple extra
okay.
cases. All right. So I'm concerned as I'm getting ready to travel, by the way, like when is this letter going to go out? And I'm worried about the one client whose first name is Debbie, the one that I was working so hard for in the multi-million-dollar case. She was alleging that she was raped a couple of times at work by her boss. So it was serious.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm like, I got all this going in my head. Now, this is post 9/11, and we're traveling. And so I tell my brother, I got all this in my head. And my brother goes, I'm going to send you a limo. One less thing to worry about. I'm going to have you picked up. Someone's going to take the luggage from your house. Just have everybody dressed.
Yeah.
That's all you need to do. Just pack the night before.
You
Pack
couldn't
tonight.
even do that, could you? Could you?
No.
No, they were dressed so well.
Yeah.
They were dressed so perfectly. They had multiple layers of
So this is the
clothes on.
thing. Like I'm
They forgot
traveling
to
with
pack, so
me,
they're
my
wearing all
wife,
their
and my
clothes.
4 kids, and whatever we couldn't pack, we were going to wear, right? And it's wintertime. Arizona was at the time maybe 25 degrees in the desert in the winter.
Yeah, it can get cold
And it
out
was
there.
actually 50 in Tampa. I didn't feel cold. But anyway, we dressed in multiple layers. That's part of the story. Thank you for the lead. But anyway, so we're all dressed in heavy clothes, and we're running late. And a limo shows up on time, and we're like running late. And like, Alana, come on, let's go. Who cares if we leave something behind? We'll buy it when we get there. Like, let's just go. We can't miss the flight. I mean, that's most important. Weeks prior, I'm like, remember, it's 9/11. You got to have your ID proper.
Yeah,
It's got to
you gotta
match
be
your last name. The
super
tickets have to
early.
match your ID. We've talked about it. Okay, and this was in
And
the
it was pretty
forefront.
raw. I mean, within a year.
Right, it was
of
about a year
9/11,
later.
we were
So it
still
was
pretty-
like that was the topic of conversation multiple times before we traveled. So the limo shows up, and we're like still hustling and packing. And we finally get in the limo, and it's like 5. We got to now drive 25 minutes to the airport, make a flight that leaves like in a half hour after we get there.
Ooh.
And we got the 4 children, we got the bags we got to check in, and we still got to get our tickets because back in that day you had to get it at
the machine.
you
Oh, at
had
the-
to get it from
at
a
the
human
counter.
being.
Yeah.
right. There was no kiosks or anything. So we get to the airport, and it's a massive line, and we have no time for the line, and we're inching up on this line, and time's running out, and I'm getting really anxious. I'm sweating through my clothes. I'm sweating through everything. And as we're almost 3/4 of the way to the front of the line, Alana says to me, my ex-wife, says, "Oh, my license name doesn't match the ticket name."
Huh.
And I'm like, crap. I mean, we're not going to make this flight, and it's like the next flight's the next day, and we're not. We didn't take our own car to get back,
Yeah.
right? This is before Uber, right? Like we're kind of like, this is fucking sucks. Anyway, so we get to the front, and I said, "Look, we got like the clerk, we got like 10 minutes to make this flight. Can you just make this happen for us? Can you get our tickets? I can't. 9/11 regulation. And I went, fuck. Do you realize how long we've been standing on line? I'm not leaving here without my tickets. All right, I'll do you a solid. And he gives us the tickets. So now we have to
Richard's
run.
on a no-fly list now.
Right. We are running our asses off. Stroller.
Yeah.
I put 3 pieces of luggage on the stroller on top of my son.
On top of the kid.
Right. It's like, and we're hustling up. Now they did from the ticket agent that we got the tickets from physically. He called ahead and said, stragglers are coming.
Yeah, yeah.
These
Hold the
crazy
flight.
effers are coming.
Right.
Watch out.
So, by the time we get on the plane, if we make it, we're not going to be well liked.
Yeah, they're not going to like you at all.
Right. So we finally get to the gate, and they're like, get on the plane. And I'm like, I got the stroller here. Give us the stroller. We'll check it in. And I'm like, please, just, And I went to go, to collapse it, but I realized I don't have time. Everybody's just hustling onto the plane. So they took the stroller, and I grabbed all the stuff, and we're on. And everybody's giving us the eye. And we sit down, and we're like, at least we made it. Like, we're relieved. We arrive in Vegas hours later. Get off the plane, we're collecting our luggage, and the stroller comes back out in like 13 pieces.
Oh.
So whoever was trying to get it on the luggage was trying to collapse it, like to get it flat.
Yeah, they were like, screw it.
Screw it, right? Right? All right, so now, on the way back, this is the part I didn't tell Jason. We're leaving now after spending a week in Arizona. We're on our way back, and somehow Alana and I get separated at the airport, and I make the flight, and they're saying, I'm on the plane, and Alana's with 2 other kids, not like I can't see her, and I'm getting on the plane. And they were like, we're leaving. And I'm like, can you? I begged, can you please stay? I said, no, we're leaving. And at that moment, you see my wife.
It's the end. It's the end. It's the end.
Come on, you're right there.
Almost
right.
there.
All right.
Bring it home.
I'm going to bring it home. Going back to the clients, right? I'm in vacation. This is the big part that
Okay, yeah.
that resulted in a lawsuit. Remember I told you I didn't
You
tell
were
you
going
that
to tell
part.
me about it, but you
Okay.
didn't. Yeah.
So while I'm in Vegas, I'm calling the client, and not in Vegas. While I'm in Arizona for the vacation in Lake Havasu, I call my client Debbie and I said, "Listen, the firm is supposed to send you a letter, and I want you to know when you get the letter that I'm fully capable of taking your case on, and you're in good hands. You know I'm the only one that's really concerned about you. I'm the only one who's been working this case. I'm the only one with knowledge." She goes, "I'll never leave you, Mr. Myers. I have 100% confidence you're going to handle this case well." Thank you, Debbie.
Oh,
Because that case was forensically valued between $4 and $16 million or something. So I'm like, this is going to be my start of my law firm, right?
Yeah.
This case. So I call into the law firm the next morning and say, "Chuck, is the letter prepared? It needs to go out now." And he goes, "Oh, we already contacted everybody. There was 31, as I remember, there were 31 cases actually." And he goes, 30 of them are going to go with you. You should be very happy.
Oh, no.
I said, "Did a notice go out to all 31? He goes, "No, we've called in Debbie. We're going to have a special meeting with her because it's headed to trial and she needs to understand certain things."
God.
And so they used it. They had met with Debbie the next morning when I was flying, and they met with her and said, "Mr. Myers can't handle it alone. You need the resources of a law firm." Right? And so Debbie calls me up later and "Sorry, but they told me you couldn't afford the case and you wouldn't do well, and I was struggling with the idea."
I don't think they can do that.
No, they couldn't. That's what I'm saying. What did it
No.
result in? Right?
Lawsuit, yeah.
All right.
So, yeah.
So I filed a bar complaint.
Yeah, of
Oh,
course.
God bless
Okay.
you. I can't wait to hear
Okay.
it.
So this is where it gets a little
So we're in the middle of it.
squirrely.
It's like the Thenardier part. Remember in the middle of the movie?
But I file a bar complaint, and they get pissed that I filed a bar complaint. Like I'm holding them to account for what
Yeah,
they did.
exactly.
Okay.
As you should.
All right. And they file
they're
a
the
bar
man.
complaint against me back.
What?
And what they alleged against me was this is back when they had the personal data systems before there were phones, right? They were like
Yeah.
right? So I had what was called a Sony Clié. I remember the brand. Okay.
I remember those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool little silver thing with a twisty top. Anyway, I had one, and I kept all my notes, my client notes, and it synced to your computer, and it was really state of the art at the time. And they were like, Mr. Myers left the firm with firm material on his Clay A. It's property of our firm. Now, I didn't care about 99% of it. What I cared about was Debbie's case on it, because I was planning on
Jesus.
all my clients coming with me, including, but I could leave the penny ante stuff on
Yeah,
one
exactly.
of Debbie's case. Okay. So they said he never produced it to us. So the bar weighed in and said, both of you did wrong things to each other. Okay. Slap on the wrist to each of us. It was first offenses, whatever. And the bar said, Mr. Myers, you need to swear out an affidavit that you've produced a copy of everything on your Clie and then deleted it. So you don't, right? So they get what was on your Clie, and you don't no longer have a copy of it. But the only thing of real concern to me at that moment was the fact that I had, just before leaving the law firm or being fired from the law firm, was I had to submit a comprehensive witness list and witness summaries of testimony for the upcoming Debbie trial. Almost all of these witnesses were victims of the same practice of this employer.
Oh, my goodness.
I filed it like the day before I was fired. So I'm like, okay, here's the stuff. I swore on an affidavit. I deleted everything. I go down to the courthouse. I
made
get the
a
court
copy of
file. I get the court file. I start calling all these witnesses and say, you got a trial coming up, and as a witness, I just want to let you know the statute of limitations on your own individual claims are X. And I'm starting the Myers firm PA, and you might want to come with me. Like 4 of them came with me, settle those cases out real quick. That's how the Myers firm was born.
Oh, wow.
So I started with
Interesting.
like $30,000 in my pocket from those penny ante
Did they
settlements.
not give you a severance package, a Christmas
Nothing.
bonus? Nothing. They cut you and let you go.
Right.
Jeez.
Wow.
Right. So Dana, that's our trip to Arizona, is and your mother with her maiden name on her driver's license and making me panic.
I would have been crapping my pants.
I told you at the bar. I said I think I lost like 5 to 7 pounds of water weight.
Standing in the line.
And standing in the line and running my ass off because I was wearing like 3 winter coats and like I'm wearing everybody's shit, so I wouldn't have to carry it. And I got to push the car
So you were
and
pulling
luggage.
you were pulling
and
a
Dana,
jelly.
you were running with us, so you were like literally like 5 or 6 years old, maybe,
Dana.
maybe less, maybe 4 years old.
Poor Rebecca.
So that's why
She must have been scarred.
Rebecca was 9 or 10.
Yeah, she would know it. She
Yeah.
have an instant recollection.
Anyway, love you, Dana. And I know you didn't listen after I told you to tune in,
No,
but I
no
love you
way.
anyway.
That's fine.
Well, she was going to listen, and she heard the opening.
But to wrap this all up, I did start the Myers firm. I was no longer an employee for anybody, and the fortune cookie was right.
You're right. That's right. You didn't mention the fortune cookie in the story.
Yeah, I did. I said I got a fortune cookie that said you were about to experience a career change.
I was tuned out during that part.
Remember you said Super Oriental Buffet?
I went and got the popcorn.
Is that when you dozed off, too? All right, Jason. Share with us the story.
I don't think. Oh, well, when I resigned from Butler Burnett, I
Wait,
was
I'm done.
terminated.
That was enough.
That was enough. Too long.
Now I realize how boring I was.
Yep.
I was terminated, but not terminated. I quit, and then they let me go that moment, even though I gave 2 weeks.
Dana was listening.
She was.
Yay! Dana!
Hey.
By the way, Dana, Jason was at your 2-year-old birthday party.
Yes, I was there.
So we had the clown at your party, and we'd go, what's the magic word? Dana! All right, go ahead, Jason.
I don't remember anymore.
You were about to
Does it-
say.
does it- I don't know. Does it matter anymore?
Yes.
Yes.
You matter to me, Jason.
Oh, thank you. I don't know. Let's talk about something more interesting.
Go ahead.
All right.
Start me up.
Sergio got mad at me today.
I'd never get mad at you at all.
I'm teasing. He didn't. We were
No.
just kind of going a little bit back and forth.
You were chuckling with each other over
Yeah.
over something political, I'm sure.
Of course.
It was always political, but it was more about water.
Fill me in.
No, it was the recent Jim Crow law that was passed in Georgia.
You mean the Jim Eagle law?
Yeah, they upgraded it.
Oh, that
So
severely
passe.
restrictive law where you can't pass out water on a
Can't pass
boating
out
line?
water. They limit how many times people can be bussed in. I think it's only two on the weekend for the 2 weeks
God
prior.
forbid.
to
You can only vote
God
2 times on
forbid.
weekends, but 3
no,
times during
not
the week.
that. No, you're only allowed to bus people in twice on a weekend for I think it's 2 weekends up until the actual.
All right, so
election.
let me use your critical thinking. Why would that law? Why pass that law?
Because they want to prevent minorities and low income people from voting.
Exactly.
That's
Come
exactly
on.
what
Nobody
it-
wants them voting anyway. Why
Come
are you
on.
fighting this?
That's
Why
how
are you
that
resisting?
goes. That's how it goes.
All right, Jason. Why do you think they would pass such a law, or provision in the law?
I'm not from Georgia, and I'm not part of the legal team that put together this awesome piece of legislation. But if I had to guess, they were finding abuses in the system.
All right. So, in
Allegedly.
your mind, using a logical brain that
Using
you
my
have,
critical thinking, Brian.
why would that provision be in there?
Because it would perhaps there are entities, volunteer groups, which are literally scooping people up and putting them on buses and bringing them down without any true intent to vote, and they're just maybe providing reward in
See, now you're
exchange for voting.
No, I just think that rather than you drawing a conclusion or believing Jason either way,
Yeah.
but you drew a conclusion even though there's an
Yeah, I
alternate
did.
explanation,
I did.
right? That's
I
what I'm
did.
saying.
I
I mean,
did.
we
Okay.
both
I mean, because
can.
why else would you limit the amount of times people who don't have transportation can get
Well,
to the
Jason's
polls?
just raising the specter of in
Yeah.
critical thinking. There could be a very rational explanation
Could be.
that is not sinister
Could
and
be.
meant to be.
But it's Georgia. But it's
Wow.
Georgia.
Have you ever been?
Wow.
Have
Absolutely.
you been to Atlanta? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Atlanta's awesome. I love Atlanta.
Okay.
Well, yeah. It's the entire metropolitan area it's got to be 50-50.
It's even more. It's like
If it isn't.
60-40.
So I don't understand this
And
theory
and
that
it's
black people are
30%
being
of the
put down in
statewide
the metro
electorate.
area.
Yeah.
They run. I've been there. It's very. This is what makes me crazy. When white liberals talk about how put down they are, if you go to Atlanta, you see exactly why they're not.
Right.
You go through all those neighborhoods and you see them. You see black people running businesses, driving BMWs, running their communities. They're not at a loss. They have driver's licenses, they have homes, they have livelihoods. They are not being put down or kept down by anybody. They are thriving.
There's a lot of people who aren't, though.
Yeah, a
Have
lot
you
of
ever
white
been through
people.
rural Georgia and seen all the poor white people there?
Yeah.
They
And they
also
might need rides to the polls.
No, but
too.
you're presuming.
You're-
this
you're
is the kind of
making
stuff
an
that drives us
assumption.
crazy. But those white people have IDs.
I didn't say
But
that.
if you have ID laws, then you're disenfranchising only black people.
No, if you have to provide 2 forms of ID now,
Yeah.
some people can't get a second ID because
You-
they can't get there to get it. Maybe they don't have the money.
But why is that race based?
Because majority of the people that don't have money are minorities.
Okay, but you just said in Georgia.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all across the country. Come on, man. Let's not act like.
See,
Oh,
that's
so-
the
so-
racist
so-
part.
so-
See, I don't assume that at all. I do not assume that the people who don't have money are the minorities.
the majority of the people who don't have money are minorities because they don't have.
The majority of the people that don't have money in the United States are white.
No.
Yes. Have you ever been to Appalachia?
No. Are we
West
talking
Virginia,
about? If you're talking about overall
Tennessee,
population,
North
then yes,
Carolina?
you
In
are
raw
correct.
numbers, you're talking
But if
about-
we are talking about the percentage per, no, not at all, not at all.
All right, show me.
I can't show you, but I can show you that there's one polling
All
place.
right, there you go.
There's one
Hammer
polling
again
place in
without
Macon, Georgia.
evidence.
There's one polling place in Macon, Georgia. What's the
I
population?
don't believe that at all. Have
What's
you
the
been to
population
Macon?
of Macon,
Macon is
Georgia?
huge.
Macon's a
Exactly.
huge city. Why you say there's only one polling place? That's crazy
That's not
talk.
true.
I'm looking
They
right now.
said that in this law,
Click
there
where to
is-
vote.
Every community, every county has at least one.
And then you scroll
And
down.
hold on, let me finish. Every community in Georgia, every county has at least one, and then an additional one per every 100,000 people in the county. So if you have a population of 600,000 people, you've got 7 voting places.
7.
Yeah, and you can vote early, and you can vote by mail.
Yeah, but people did that this year. Remember?
Why are you fighting with me? Okay,
I'm not
great.
fighting with you.
I'm all
So
right
now they
with
want to
not
codify it,
saying
and now
that.
you're
No,
like,
I'm
oh,
saying
it's racist.
people voted early in record numbers this year, and it was a rigged election. Remember?
No,
when people
you're
voted
putting
early,
words in our
it's
mouth.
a rigged election. Oh,
No,
all those-
No,
I voted
hang on,
early.
hang
I
on.
have never-
Let's go back to this debate.
Are we not saying that?
We had this debate. I just want to get to the essence of that debate and
Go ahead.
dispense with it. Jason and I talked about prior to the election, there were changes made in procedures and laws
Okay.
that were not authorized by the state legislatures.
Which
That-
is a violation of the Constitution.
Our U.S. Constitution provides the mechanism by which states conduct their elections, and their laws must come from their state legislatures in the United States Constitution. So when you have a supervisor of elections or a lieutenant governor or a governor saying,
Or a Secretary of State.
or Secretary of State saying, I'm going to extend the voting,
Yeah.
or I'm going to do, that's
What's wrong with
That's
that?
illegal. It's
per
illegal.
se
So
unconstitutional.
even during a pandemic,
Yes.
it's illegal.
Yes.
It's
You go to the
illegal
state
be like,
legislature.
it's
Do you-
illegal.
do you realize-
To
do you
say
realize-
you can't vote, you can't vote, you can't stand
Seriously.
in line, you can't stand in
See,
line.
this
you
is
can't
something
stand in
that's
line.
so naive.
But also, we don't want you to
Serge,
vote early.
Serge, it's so naive. Don't you? Have you ever heard we're having an emergency session of the legislature? You know, Congress does this
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
Okay, so as easy as a governor can say,
Yeah.
I'm issuing a
Yeah. But did he?
directive, right?
Did he?
Did he need to?
No, many.
He chose not to.
Many-
You want to know why? I can tell you why he chose not to.
What do you
Because he
mean
knew
chose?
he knew what was going to happen.
Well, who are you talking about?
The guy that used to be the governor.
The guy that wants to be Stacey Abrams.
Yeah, the guy who used to be the governor of Georgia. See, because he knows
he's
if
still
I would,
governor. Didn't
if I
Kemp
would have
still
did,
governor?
if I would have did
He's
an
still
emergency
governor.
session to help these voting issues that we're having, then we know all these people their votes is going to count. But they said, let's not do that. Let's not do that, and then criticize all the early voting and all the.
Okay, sir. With all due respect, I really appreciate your question.
I'm giving you my
called
Jewish
stacking- it's called
response. My
stacking
Jewish New
the
Yorker.
deck.
Ugh.
I really appreciate
Stacking the
your
deck.
passion,
Go ahead.
but every time we try to talk about a topic, it gets moved. The conversation is constantly moved. We were talking about
Okay.
why this is wrong. Well, because of that's wrong. Why is that wrong? Because this is wrong. And everything is like, it's this sliding, slippery slope of nonsense. First of all, I can answer your question very clearly. What was wrong with the voting in the last election was that the rules were changed improperly. That was wrong. You can say, well, what was wrong with the way, with what they were trying to do? Maybe nothing. Maybe everything. It's beyond the point. There are ways to do things. If it doesn't happen in the right way, it's illegal. It's unconstitutional. It is not applicable, and it doesn't apply. That's all we're saying. Now, what's wrong with early voting? I have early voted every election probably in the last 10 or 15 years.
Yeah.
I walk over to the county. I happen to live in Dade City, which is the registrar or the voter place, whatever they call it. What do they call it?
Polling
Supervisor of
place?
Elections
That's
office.
people. Yeah.
Literally 2 miles from my house, but it's also literally across the street from my office. I walk over there. I have never stood in a line longer than 10 minutes to cast a vote. And
Did you get thirsty?
What's the
Need water?
population of Dade County?
Dade City?
Dade City?
I don't know.
I
really don't know.
Is it the
Why-
same size
Why are you
as
going to shift
Hillsborough
it?
County?
He's
But see, it
aware
doesn't
of-
matter.
Why are you shifting the argument?
No, because I'm asking. Of course, you're not going to wait if you're in a smaller county. You're going to walk in because there's not that many people there. Now, if you're in Hillsborough County, you're not going to have that
I early
same.
voted in Hillsborough County and didn't have to wait. I don't understand. My point.
Where?
In Tampa.
Where was the location that you
In the
voted
white
in?
neighborhood of.
Go ahead.
No,
Continue.
it's actually not.
Oh, wait,
led-
what?
he led
It's
you off. Go
significantly
ahead.
minority.
Where were we at?
Temple Terrace.
Temple Terrace.
Yeah, talk to me.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm just
it's
saying.
full of
Well, what
I'm
Indians.
just saying. I'm just saying.
So you're just going to repeat the word Temple Terrace
Yeah,
and
just
then
repeat
smirk
the
at
words.
me and
Yeah,
smirk at me
that's all
and
I'm
say
saying.
I rest
I
my
am
case.
not implying anything. I'm just saying, yeah, Temple Terrace. I've been there. Go ahead.
Okay.
Just saying.
Okay, I'm glad you've been there.
Not every
I've been there too.
Not every county is the same. Not all of them have the same population size. The ones that have the major population sizes are the ones that these guys are creating these laws to stop from voting. Not stop, but hinder. Or not even really hinder.
Okay.
We'll just
you don't
put
find
speed
it,
bumps.
I'll use the word
That's
of the
what we'll
day
call it.
because yesterday this word was all over the place because I think Biden used it in his press conference, which is pernicious.
What is
Right?
this?
Pernicious. You know,
Issues.
that is something so evil.
Yeah.
Okay, right? It's pernicious evil, right?
It's inherently evil.
It's inherently evil. How is it inherently evil to let's do, for example, we were going to segue into this eventually anyway.
Having a harmful effect, especially in a gradual or subtle way.
Oh, so it happens in a negative impact that happens without you even noticing.
Subtly. You know, kind of like
without noticing.
telling
Biden's
people
health is declining in a pernicious manner.
voting rights for minorities is declining in a pernicious manner. In Georgia.
Oh God, it kills me. This whole
Everything
There's
is
a-
the fixation on
Because
those.
I don't get it. I mean, they
over the
can't
last
okay,
10
so
years,
listen.
it's just become the lazy way of thinking. Of
Lazy.
like, it must be because someone has a sinister
Yeah,
plan to keep
absolutely.
a group of people away from the polls.
Absolutely. It's America, man. Where you been? This is America. This is what they were.
Can America be greater than
founded
what you
on.
think it is?
Huh?
Can America right now be greater than what you think it is?
Depending on who's looking at it.
Oh, if you're a downtrodden minority who's having their voting rights stripped,
Yeah.
it's terrible.
It's not a terrible country. For the people that lost the previous election, this is a great country, man. We fixed that problem, even though we couldn't actually provide any proof at all that there was a rigged election.
Not
But we're just
rigged.
going to say
I want-
that every major
This
county
is gonna
in
drive us
Georgia
crazy.
was rigged, but the outside county.
We don't
no,
borrow the
those
language of Trump. This is where we parted from Trump.
counties. Yeah.
Well, actually, I believe that the evidence will show that the election was improperly swayed in multiple ways. I think I've already said that.
With a purposeful design, but I don't want to like to use the word rigged.
I like
Yeah,
to
but
use the
rigged-
word pernicious.
It was perniciously done
Yes.
from
This is
2016
where
forward.
we're doing a huge segue. I mean, like we're departing from where we want to.
That's right.
Where we want to be, but this is what the show is.
We're just trying to get audience.
Yeah,
Right.
that's fun. No, you guys had three. You have a trio of
lives.
audience.
What's going on now?
We can't see it now because that's not the Facebook Live. This is the direct feed.
Every time I look on it, it says there's nobody listening, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
I
oh,
saw three.
I hurt my
I saw
feelings.
Let me check again.
Yeah,
I
so
forgot what I was going to say. You see, you distracted me.
Pernicious. We were talking about pernicious.
Yeah, three. I got three watching.
No, by the end of the week,
Maybe we can invite them to call in and yell at us.
We have 50-something views. That's tremendous.
Yeah, that's actually amazing. Oh, you got four now. Uh-oh. Quick, start talking
Someone
about something.
call in. Then we should call in.
Yeah, 813-7. No, wait. 252-4497.
Well, they didn't hear.
813.
Put it on the screen
on
so
the
they can
screen.
see.
252. It's on the crawl. They'll see it every once in a while.
Tune in.
We don't even know our own show. We got to look at our own show.
Yeah.
What's N radio?
Get It N Radio. It's our hip hop show. It's a great show.
N
shout out to
radio.
Vibes.
What is it? What does
What's
N
the
stand
N
for?
stand for?
Get It In, but N because Gin Gin.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
Gin TV.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, get it in.
Yeah.
That sounds pornographic.
It could be.
Yikes! Am I allowed to be on here?
Depends on the day.
We're before the 9 o'clock hour, so we're before prime time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Are your kids listening?
Yes.
You're a foul mouth.
I'm not such a potty mouth.
Like I can call anyone that. What,
Okay.
Anyway, back to the water on the line.
Back to the water. Exactly. Okay. So
Okay, yeah, because we haven't even talked about the water. Why is it a problem for me seeing you stand outside in this long line, say, you know what, you look thirsty, sir, here's some water.
Because
that's a good reason.
I'm ready to.
Good answer, Rich. Good answer.
I'm ready.
And the survey says
I wanted to formulate my answer with the dramatic pause.
Yeah.
a pregnant pause.
Okay. Because contact while you're just before casting a vote is fraught with the possibility of undue influence. And so if you're going to get anybody there. What?
Yeah, what he said.
Nobody's allowed to stand in line with any type of shirt. So
No, you
how do
can't be
know-
within
No,
6
you can't.
feet.
That's
You're not
actually
allowed to
illegal.
get within
That's
6 feet
actually-
of each
that
other.
part's illegal, actually.
You're
In
not allowed.
every state.
We weren't allowed to get it 6 feet in front, within 6 feet until this year. But they didn't pass that law, so why all of a sudden
was
is it illegal
making-
now to be within 6 feet?
I was-
But it was completely okay back in November.
Have you lost your sense of humor? I was making a joke.
I
How
know.
could you hand somebody a
It's
glass of
all-
water
it
if you
is-
can't get within 6 feet of them? It's
You
funny.
toss it to them. You toss it.
Well, the law doesn't say you can't toss it to them.
Yeah.
It says hand.
So
Didn't you read the
guys-
law?
You guys don't think giving water
No,
is
but the,
Hey, little old lady.
But there were.
Exactly.
But there were. I don't know if it was the right word is anecdotal, but there were testimonies, if you will, about people who were dressed in certain garb, handing out the waters with some sort of last-minute.
Make sure you vote
So
for
you
it.
think?
No. I don't think it sways people's votes. I don't.
So then what's the problem?
No. I think if you're going to be in the camp of each vote is precious. No one
Sacrosanct.
individual. If you buy into the fact that maybe someone that's, you hear the stories all the time. I'm going to vote. I don't know until I get into that booth. That's close to me. I don't know which way I'm going to. You don't want those people to be influenced.
No, you don't want those people.
No, no one wants anyone to be swayed.
No, because I'm at work while all the people who are voting for Biden out there giving out water. You're damn straight.
What's wrong with that? They're looking out for the
Okay.
well-being.
Because they're being
Jason
paid to
said
hand out
the
water. I'm being paid to be at work.
Nothing but-
Americans.
Nothing. See, this is what I think Jason was showing me a little bit of your give and take on Facebook.
Yeah.
What stops a supervisor election saying, let's have a water station every 20 feet on a line?
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing.
So,
So
what's
why-
wrong with somebody giving out water?
But banning, because the person, the contact,
It's the solicitation
the
part.
solicitation aspect they want to eliminate.
That's terrible.
You're not allowed to
Well, that's
solicit
evil.
within like so many feet, 100
That's
feet,
always been the
150
rule.
feet.
But that's always
of
been
a
the rule on
polling
polling
place.
on voting when you're voting.
And by coming in
So-
by saying I'm giving them a sandwich, you are essentially, when you open up the sandwich and it says "Vote Biden" or "You can't eat me."
not
let me
gonna
ask
say
you.
that.
Let me ask you if the law was, we're going to prevent everyone with a MAGA hat from handing out water. Would you be in favor of that?
Absolutely. But the thing is, it's already set up to where you can't even stand in line with a Biden shirt. You can't stand in line with Trump hats and stuff.
But it doesn't matter but you can say
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, people say things all the time.
You're not allowed to. That's
Yeah.
the point. It's breaking the solicitation. That doesn't mean that there isn't other remedies.
People
You're
who are
concerned about
solicited,
people not being
how
able
do you
to.
feel when someone, without you asking, starts talking to you and soliciting you for something? How do you feel inside about it?
I'm just like, whatever.
For most people,
No,
what do you think
most people are
feel?
not. Whatever.
Yeah, most people are
They're
like, whatever,
annoyed.
just shut
No,
up.
Most
they're
people are
not.
like,
It
get
all
out of my
depends.
space. I
It
don't
depends
need
on
you.
situation.
I don't need your product, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's why we have these anti-solicitation laws on the phone and all that. It's uncomfortable for most people, so you don't want to make people uncomfortable being on that voting line. It's a God-given right, if you will.
But what if they're
we don't
thirsty?
want it? We don't want it to.
Look,
That makes somebody uncomfortable.
But
Here's the deal.
But you
Here's-
immediately
and
say,
it
"Oh,
can be
that
a
law is
health
racist."
problem.
Why is it racist? That's what I
No,
want.
nobody said it was racist.
Look,
You
here's
don't
the
think it
skinny.
is?
Here's the
Oh,
skinny.
God bless you.
My white privilege and I have never needed a glass of water before we cast our vote.
Yeah, hydrate.
Let me tell you that right
Hydrate before
Yeah,
you
that's
vote.
probably because
now.
you.
And if I needed one, I bring my own damn water
yeah,
with me.
that's because you got white privilege and you could
With a
afford
nice white
bottled
label
water.
and it's white
you
water.
probably
Water.
drink the Evian water, bottled water.
No, Evian's
You
disgusting.
probably carry it in
No.
a
Well,
bag.
This is where you're wrong.
That is so
because-
pedantic.
Because he was born a poor black child.
Yeah. He came up. That's the American dream right there.
His real name is Navin Johnson.
Shit, Shinola.
Yeah, right. Do you know? Have you seen the movie that we're talking
That's
about?
the jerk.
No.
Yeah,
Oh, I saw
The
some of
Jerk.
it. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
I gotta
I
watch
was
that.
born a poor black. Navin Johnson.
Oh my god,
He,
we gotta
he-
find.
he hates
Steve
these
Martin.
cans.
Oh, my
he hates these cans. Stay clear of the cans.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Oh my
All right,
lord.
keep up fighting. Keep
Yeah.
going. I'm gonna find
Yeah,
something.
do what we
real
gotta
quick.
do.
What? What?
I got-
Find. What are you looking? Are you
I
looking up
was
Navin
born-
Johnson?
I was born.
Oh, you want to get that clip? just do the jerk
I got it
trailer
already.
because I looked at it the other day actually. That's why I was reminded of it. Oh, here we go. You're gonna play it on the air?
Yes, I am. It's only 30 seconds.
Put the speaker up against it.
I'll get to it, Steve.
Okay. It was never easy for me. I was born a poor black child. I remember the days sitting on the porch with my family, singing and dancing down in Mississippi.
That's a great cast.
Do you know the whole
That
storyline
is a
with the
great
jerk?
cast.
No, I saw
He's
that
born a
once.
poor black child. He decides he's gonna get
There's
it.
more. There's more.
Well, pass me the potatoes and the collard greens.
$11?
I'm sorry I spoiled the party, Mom.
Oh, you didn't spoil the party.
Wait.
David, I brought you a Twinkie.
There you go. Move it
I'm
over.
not hungry right now.
There we go. There we go.
Feeling different again, huh?
It's like I don't fit in. It's like I don't belong here.
It's your birthday, and it's time you knew. Naven, you're not our natural-born child.
I'm not.
You were left on our doorstep. But we raised you like you were one of us.
You mean I'm gonna stay this color?
Naven, I'd love you if you were the color of a baboon's ass.
Oh my God! I'd love you for the color of a
the whole-
baboon's ass.
So he
Oh, my
leaves. He finds a job in the city, and as a gas station attendant living in the
Yeah,
gas
he
station.
learned- yeah.
Right. Anyway, and then he ultimately, long story short, he ultimately becomes an inventor by accident. Someone comes into the gas station, his glasses keep falling off, and he just fashions a wire that hooks from this part to the tip of your nose, and so it keeps the glasses from falling. And he called it he markets it, and it's called the OptiGrab. Okay, and he makes millions and millions, sells
Oh, he's
worldwide,
major
millions
rich,
of-
major
he becomes
rich.
like one of the richest people in the world. And then a gentleman played by Carl Reiner leads a class action lawsuit for those people who wear the glasses. They become cross-eyed because they can't. They stare at the bar, and their eyes become cross-eyed, and they ends up bankrupting.
That's crazy.
Right.
it is a long movie, and the beginning is hilarious. The rest is
Some of the
There's a reason why they call it The
It's a
Jerk.
laugh out loud like 4 or 5 times during the movie. The movie's stupid as crap.
Of course.
But there's 4 or 5 guffaws in the middle of it. It's hilarious.
But I want to use that segue. I don't usually talk about my children, but I have
yes,
3 black children.
yes.
And my oldest, she's 7 now. Yeah, she just turned 7, and she wants to be white.
She said it.
She has said it. Yeah, I want to be white. I want to have straight hair.
Or maybe
I want
she
straight hair like
recognizes the
this.
privilege
and
that's out there, right?
I
She
want
probably
that.
does, at a young
no,
age.
No, no. But you know what? Not bullshit. You know what? F you. No. You know what it is? No, it is.
Explain why it's not white privilege.
She wants. It is not white privilege in that sense. She wants to fit in.
Yeah,
But she
that's
wants to be like her sister. She doesn't say to herself.
Yeah, she doesn't see it in terms of race.
She doesn't. No.
Right.
In fact, it's hilarious. I'm going to give it one. I'll give this little story. I don't want to go too far down the racism.
Yeah.
But it's really funny. So, like I said, at the time, my last 3 were 5, 4, and 3. Reese is our last biological boy, child. He's obviously white, blonde hair. Then there's Ruby. She's African American. Rafaela, our last, or then last. We have had a since. We've had an addition, but at the time it was just Rafaela. She's mixed, African American and white. So Reese says to me, we're all driving. It's me and the 3 littles. We're all in the van and we're driving somewhere. And Reese pipes up with, "Daddy, what color is Rafaela?" And Ruby goes, "Gray." And Reese goes, "Oh, yeah, that's right.
Makes sense.
Makes sense." And I'm like, what? I didn't even get the answer. It was white, black, gray.
Right.
They don't know.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't care. They take baths with each other. They play on their bikes together. They play dolls together. They jump on the trampoline together. They swim in the pool together. Let me tell you something. Ruby is going to kick Reese's ass someday. But they are just having fun.
Exactly.
And they are just playing. There's no privilege. Oh, okay.
No, it's still privilege.
Okay, hold on. It's my son. Hi. What's
Wait,
up? I'm
put
in
him
the
on the
middle
air.
of my-
Stop talking.
Hey, I'm in the middle of my show. What's up?
I'll mute you. There you go. Much better. Yeah. No, they're what do we call that?
So the whole point is that we learn evils from society, not from your soul.
Exactly.
Right? You're born
Exactly.
clean. And then
Exactly. And that's
Right.
all it is. That's all it is. They learn all this stuff
Okay.
in society. And
Right,
it's a
so
shame.
people are now learning there's such thing called white privilege when
Yeah.
not all whites have white privilege.
No, not
But-
all.
No, maybe most don't. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, so you're grouping a whole race by some sort of false characteristic of feeling like they're constantly getting the advantage when it's not really true.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying that there hasn't been societal disadvantages to those people of color. We never said that.
Yeah.
And I've also devoted a large part of my career to helping those people because I do civil rights law, as you know. So I don't deny it exists, but it's pernicious.
Yeah, I like that word.
It's pernicious,
Pernicious.
to allow this thought process to go on. If you're white, therefore you're racist because you are enjoying white privilege. It's awful to be labeled as though if you're white, you're likely racist.
No, nobody's saying that.
But that's. What do you
Oh,
mean
no,
I'm
no,
saying
no,
that?
no, no.
I think
no,
that's
no.
becoming
the use of the term white privilege is the very backhanded way of calling somebody a racist.
No, it's not.
Yes,
Oh,
it
yeah, it
is.
is.
Not at all.
Oh, most
not at
certainly.
all.
Yes, it is.
Not at all. It's just simply saying that, hey, because of your family lineage, you probably have a few more advantages than a lot of other people don't.
But when you say probably have, okay,
That's all it is. It's not calling it
no,
racist.
You're about to
okay,
open
but
up a can
that's-
of worms right
let's-
here
okay.
because I got
Let's
issues.
assume that to be true. I mean,
No, it's
there's a
true.
step that you're kind of equating that makes it pernicious. Okay, let's just say that because I grew up in a world the way it is, that I've been provided advantages,
Yeah.
and I go through my life making sure things are equal.
Yeah.
I want to treat people equally.
You're one
I
of the
live by
good
the
ones.
golden rule. I'm one of the good ones. But what if most people are like me? They just want to live by the golden rule and get by day, treating your fellow human being nicely as they want to be
I
treated.
believe that, yeah.
Okay, right?
I believe we all do.
All right. But if you're white, you're not now under this new construct. We are presumed to have unconscious bias over everything because you're white. And yet, we just said, you agree that people live their lives consciously by being nice to other people.
Yeah.
So how do you reconcile that? How do you say that a race like white people are white privileged, yet the majority of them act in a manner that's completely without feeling or in a way
that's-
acting on
White
any of that
privilege
privilege?
isn't a feeling. White privilege is something that happens. Like if me and you go to the store, who do you think they're going to follow around, me or you? Let's just keep it a
Well,
buck.
shave a little bit and
I'm
make
just, yeah,
yourself
but
look
what I'm
nice.
saying is, it's like it's little things like that when
Take a
you get
bath.
pulled over.
Take a bath.
No, well, this
Take
is
a bath, you
this is
hippie.
another thing. If you get pulled over, the odds of you getting shot, it's not going to happen.
Again, this is where you and I have some sort of commonality, which
Yeah.
is I understand those things exist. When people start equating my race
yeah,
with racism, like
then that's that
But
person.
that's what happens when you start labeling a group of people and saying they enjoy white privilege. I agree with you in saying you get some societal advantages because of the institutionality of some of the biases that have been built. It exists. I
Yeah,
don't deny it
absolutely.
because I see it in my practice. I've seen it, okay? So I don't deny that at all. But to look at Jason and say, oh, you're enjoying white privilege, like I agree with him. It's a backhanded way in saying, watch out, you're inadvertently racist.
No, nobody's saying that. Now I don't
that's
know
what
where
a lot of
I don't
people
know
mean
where
by it.
you're hearing that, but nobody's equating the two at all. Not at all. I've never heard
no
anybody
one.
say.
No,
I've never
I
heard
don't
anybody
buy
say,
it.
"Oh, they got white privilege, they're racist." No, they don't.
I need
you
someone
can't
to
equate
call
the
in.
two. You can't equate.
I'll
the two.
call in.
You've had
Someone
some
call in
advantages,
who truly believes.
but no.
B, I know you're listening. Call in. Explain to me what white privilege really is. Call in. Is
I
she
just
listening?
explained it.
She forgot the number.
No, I
just
want her to
explained
explain it. Since I don't know anything about generational wealth, I'll never forget that
Yeah,
lecture. I got.
generational wealth is part of it. It's part of it. Like I said, there's hundreds of
Do you
thousands.
believe
of
in
people.
reparations because of
Absolutely, because they never
we
got
talked
the,
about this for a whole show?
yeah,
Remember that?
because they never got the 40 and a mule to begin with. So of course you got to
But-
give them something.
Okay, wait, hold on. I wasn't here for that, and I'm
Oh,
sure your
we had
family.
that was a good show.
Yeah,
Your family, family, I assume, came over in the early 1900s. Would that be fair?
Yeah, yes, but,
Okay.
late 1800s.
Some of them, okay.
Yes.
All my family came over in the early 1900s. from 1913 through like 1920. Right, so during that span, everybody that is in my family, my ancestors came over during that time. They were Italian, they were Portuguese, they were Lithuanian. The Lithuanians didn't speak English. They were poor. The Portuguese were dark-skinned, did not speak English, and they were literally relegated to being like sheep farmers. And my Italian family, they were also dark-skinned. They were relegated to factory work. When you say things like generational wealth, I believe that there are people out there who inherit that generational wealth, but it ain't this guy.
Yeah.
And I bet you it wasn't
But
that
we're not
guy.
saying that all white people have that. We're simply saying that there is.
But see, here's the funny thing. The vast majority of our country is in immigration. I imagine the vast majority of white people do not come from generational wealth.
Nobody said they do.
But it's more exclusively the
then why are
province
we-
of white people than colored people, so to
Yeah,
speak.
absolutely.
Okay, that might be true. I mean, but that leaves me out. I'm still out of the lottery.
Yeah, but we're not.
Yeah,
But
so
we're
this
not.
is where he was going this direction, I believe, because when we started talking about reparations on the show, I guess you weren't here.
I wasn't there for
was why should someone generations removed from any of the societal ills that so you have people who are guilty of nothing,
It's
paying
not
people
about
that have
who's
not
guilty.
suffered anything.
It's not about who's guilty. It's about making
it's-
something right that was done to people.
No, it's
that was
making
wrong.
something right in someone's
That's
mind.
like me saying, "Okay, I'm going to keep you in
Okay,
my
so-
house.
so my
for
wife's-
50% of your life. You're in my house. I'm not paying you nothing." But then I say, "You know what? When we get out of here, I'm going to give you a house. I'm going to give you about 5 acres. And when we get out, I'm not giving you nothing." So how do you feel?
Okay, so the people
No,
that came
that's-
over here from
that's
Ireland and
impacting
couldn't
the
get
very
a
people
job.
in I'm just saying, reparation. Are we ever going to get to? Let's ask this question hypothetically: are we ever going to get to the point as a nation?
Oh, we got a call.
Is this B? I hope
Go
it's
ahead.
B.
Oh, she's gonna rip you up a new one.
Go ahead, pick it up.
Hey there. Who's this?
This is B. How are you?
Uh-oh, you're in trouble now,
She
Richard.
couldn't find the
B who?
be alert.
No, Richard, you just asked me to call.
I know.
You just
What-
woke her up.
What do you have to add?
Actually, tonight I kind of agree with you.
Ooh.
All right.
That.
I'm hanging up.
ding, ding.
I'm hanging up because I think I'm dead.
calling.
I think I'm dead. No, really?
You went
What?
to heaven. You went to heaven.
No, I genuinely do, in a sense. Like, yes, I believe that there is white privilege, but I also agree with you that there are white people who genuinely lead their lives. They're raised to love each other equally. They go about their lives trying to make sure that they treat everybody equally. And in a sense, it's almost hard to find a place where it's my confusion actually kind of stems from
Just put it down.
stems from a Saturday Night Live skit that aired a few months ago, where they were talking about white privilege, and they were talking about the Black Lives Matters movement, and the person doing the skit had said, white women who are on Facebook talking about the Black Lives Matter movement, you need to sit down and be quiet because you're inherently and historically part of the problem. And
That's
that kind
pernicious.
of struck a heartstring with me because as a white woman who was raised in Alabama, I've seen racism firsthand. I've tried to live my life as far away from racism as I possibly can, but there has still been many times where I have either had to be taught a lesson or been told basically to sit down and shut up because I didn't have a voice in the argument.
Boy,
Wow.
nothing makes me angrier than being told to shut up. You don't have a voice in the argument. That's offensive.
Did you say something?
No, I did not.
Well, I appreciate you calling in, and you should do this every week.
Especially when you agree with us.
I wish I can, keep this memory forever, but I'll probably
Yeah.
forget it by next week.
I mean, how
Don't worry.
often do you ever hear a woman say, "Yeah, I kind of agree with you"?
Never.
I need to frame this moment.
Never. Well, it depends on how much
Well, I'm
bourbon.
sorry to shock you, but
What episode is this?
This is, I don't know. I got to call. I
Check
think
it
we're
out.
at 10 now.
10.
All right, we love you calling in, and
Thanks, B.
You're our guaranteed audience.
You're our
And
favorite.
every time we say audience, you know we're talking about you.
We
right?
got to get shirts pressed up and send her one.
well, I don't get to tune in every week because I'm momming a lot. So, but I do. I try to listen most every week and tune in when I can. I appreciate
we
the show.
appreciate you. All right, thanks for calling
You all
in.
have a good night. Uh-huh.
Round of applause for
Bye-bye.
B.
Wow.
All right, let's wrap it up. I got a guest from out of town.
Nice.
Well, it is 8:06. I'm about to get
Gonna
my
head
phone
out
on.
to meet him. This has been the Whiskey Rebellion, fully known as the conservative parents with liberal kids, now known as the Whiskey Rebellion. I'm Richard Myers of the Myers Firm, PA.
Oh, wait. Yeah, let me do
You
that.
can find me at www.myersfirm.com. Call me at 813-477-2623.
Ricardo and Waslick, we handle consumer protection matters where we help you out from debt collection and foreclosure. 352-457. I'm sorry. Strike that.
How long you been practicing? in this?
352-567-3173. Almost gave out my.
Damn.
I almost gave my cell phone number.
You coulda looked at
Jason
the
at
screen
ricardolaw.com.
if you wanted.
Yeah, I can't read.
Yeah, you
no,
could-
I almost gave my cell number out. I don't want to.
I almost did too.
I want none of you audience calling my cell phone number.
For real.
I
All
can
right.
sleep.
All right.
We out of here.
Rock
Yeah.
on. See ya.
I think it's crazy I'm the one who they labeled as controversial, and Cardi B is the role model for 12-year-old girls. There's rappers pushing Xanax at the top of the billboard, but if I mention race in a song, I'm scared I'll get killed for it. It's backwards, it's getting exponentially dumb. It's more difficult to get a job than purchase a gun. Eminem used to gay bash and murder his mom, and now he doesn't want fans if they voted for Trump. We're ashamed to be American. You should probably love it, cause you have the right to hate it and not get stoned to death in public. As children, we were taught how to walk and talk, but the system wants adults to sit down and shut up. Cancel culture runs the world now, the planet went crazy. Label everything we say is homophobic or racist. If you're white, then you're privileged, guilty by association. All our childhood heroes got Me Too'd or they're rapists. They never freed the slaves. They realized that they don't need to change. They gave us tiny screens.